Welcome back to the second week of my series of not fitting in. Last time we explored the idea of belonging and not belonging in a broader sense. And now we will look into a more personal space, what it means in between the languages, in between the cultures, and how this in-between thing shaped my art. Most people actually learn to speak another language different from their own. But what does it feel like to express something in a language that is not your first? It depends, of course, on what your level is. Do you become a slightly different person? To me, it feels a bit like that. And you also have to adjust your way of thinking. When using English, I don't have much emotions about it anymore, but I used to. Now my thoughts are in English mixed with Czech. English because English became quite natural to me and quite neutral. It is also so international that it lost its cultural flavor for me, except when I hear native English speakers with their typical accents and dialects. Then I feel their culture and respond to that emotionally. When I try to learn a new language, it takes a lot of emotional input for me to be able to produce anything. And when I don't have emotional experience, I feel as if I'm blind and deaf in that language, even if I know the grammar and vocabulary. So at least for me, languages bring their own emotions. Do you feel like that too? I do feel culturally at home in Europe. Almost anywhere in Europe now, after living in California for many years. Recently I visited Vienna and Lisbon. Sure, I felt at home in Vienna much more, but the historical part of Lisbon also felt like being at home. Greece, when I first arrived there, felt so different. After 5 months of being there, I was on an island and I suddenly felt completely at home. On my next visit to California, I will feel like coming home. But my first year there was a year of wonder. I felt overwhelmed by the sizes and distances and power of nature and many more things. Each of these cultures now lives in me. Have you ever felt that you changed because you changed places or cultures? Living on both sides of the Atlantic or even on the Pacific coast can influence you a lot. My art is quite different from what I used to do in my youth. It is influenced by this experience. I paint places now more than I ever did when I was young. Finally, I got out from the limits of the so-called Eastern Europe, which is actually Central Europe, and I traveled and lived in the south and across the pond. These places were quite different from my original home, and they made a great impression on me. I started reflecting that more and more in my art. I learned a new medium, digital art. I developed style resembling a mosaic thanks to digital media. My colors and my color choices are also influenced by it because I have more to choose from. I don't paint dreams and fantasies as much as I used to when I was young. And if I do, it is again a place, an imaginary city, or a landscape. Now I don't bring the inside out, but the outside in. I grew up surrounded by classical academic realism, and I've been trying to live it all my life. When I was young, through surrealism, and now through naive art and fauvism in my own style. My goal is to loosen up and be as much expressive as I can. That's also because moving around liberated me. When I came to California, my art was European. Now I can say it is less so. However, I think it is still my own and has always been. The theme of cities and streets has been with me in the beginning, and it returned back strongly now. Life is experience. My experiences are my wealth. The places I paint are full of my personal memories, but they also have their own existence and therefore presence. I paint their portraits, the same way I would paint portraits of people. Nothing new under the sun, that's what artists do. But it's exciting to live that experience of being an artist too. I feel I'm mixing the cultures, and I feel my art got enriched by living in those cultures. I don't fit now in any of them fully, and it is more of a blessing than anything else. Does my art feel to you as a typical European art? If you feel in between, what is it and why do you feel like that? I'd really like to hear about your experience.
Thank you for watching and for leaving comments if you have something to say. That means a lot to me. And see you next week in the third part of my series, Not Fitting In. Bye. I have a dog here.